RWBY Volume 2, Episode 9, Search and Destroy. This was definitely a great episode for the season, and it was really good because for one, we got to see more of Dr. Oobleck, who was really, really funny in this episode. My favorite line was definitely when the one Grim comes out and he's like, it could take weeks or months for an entire pack, and there's the whole pack. And then when White says what, he actually responded as if she really asked the question, which I guess technically she did. But they made him like really big headed and stuff, and it was really, really fun. I enjoyed that part. Um, he also created what I personally think was the best part of this episode, and that was an inner working into the mind of Yang, Weiss, and Blake, asking them why they wanted to be huntresses. And it was really cool because I'd never really considered that throughout the entire series. Why does anyone want to be a hunter? Why does anyone want to be a huntress? And I guess it's because really with this show, and you guys could of course correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the things that come up is who are we going to get introduced to next, who we've gotten like clips of here and there, or who are we going to get to see fight next, because of course with semblance being a part of the fighting, it's not just, oh, they're throwing some punches or kicks. It's an entire, it's almost like a universe in itself when they fight, because you never know what these characters can do. We can speculate of course, but we never really get to see. So that tends to be what's in the forefront of my mind for this series. And aside from John, what someone wanted to do or why they became a huntress or hunter in his case never really, spoke to me. It was just never in my head. So it was really cool to have that. And it was even great that we got to learn about Dr. Oobleck in the end of this episode. We learned about his ideals, why he really became a history teacher when Ruby asked him why he became a hunter. And it was just really, really well done. I really enjoyed it. It was a great inner working into the girls, or at least three of the four girls. And by the end of the episode, because they gave their answers, they were really confident. And then by the end, they have no idea really what to think about themselves. And it was just like a real life thing. Like, I thought I knew exactly what I wanted to be, and they do, but you have to take it one step at a time. That you can't have all the answers, but knowing that you don't kind of makes you question, what am I really doing this for? And next time I give this answer, am I just going to say I'm a thrill seeker, or I just want the answer, or I have a name now hold? So it was really, really cool. And I don't know why Ruby wasn't asked, and my only speculation really is that she kind of gave her answer to Ozpin in the very beginning of the series when he asked her, why do you want to be a huntress? So he may have told Oobleck that already, and that's why he didn't ask her, because he already knew what the answer was. But he could also just see that she's different from the other girls, that she doesn't have this insane drive. Like, everyone has their sort of personality traits, where Yang, you could tell she's the one who likes to fight. She's the thrill seeker, and you could see that. Blake being a faunus, who, the teachers know, at least, I don't, the students don't. But the teachers know, so he probably knows, like, she has this drive to really do that. She has this drive to become a huntress, to not only fight against evil, but to break down these barriers between human and the fauna, or faunesses, I don't know. But it's just really cool, and, of course with why she's a Schnee, so it's pretty much automatic, and that's even her answer. She has a name to uphold. So that could be why he asked, but I thought it was just really cool. And of course, him not asking Ruby initially, I don't know why he wouldn't, because honestly, Ruby and Yang seem like they would have the most similar answer, because once again, in the series premiere, Ruby, after she had the big fight, she beat up a bunch of people, she chased Roman, then she fought with Glinda against Cinder. Right after that battle ended, the first thing she did was turn to Glinda and say, wow, you're a real huntress. So it was almost the same sort of thing, like being a thrill seeker, but she almost has sort of the calm side of Yang's ideals, as well as the calm side of Blake's ideals, where Blake wants to make things right, but she has this really, really hard drive towards that, and it's like her sole passion in life, because she's a faunus, so she's dealt with the really bad side of it, so she has that drive to find the answer, which she really realized in this episode she doesn't have the answer to. So it was really, really cool. I enjoyed it. Of course, the action was pretty cool. I love the way they did the action scene in this. It wasn't the super epic scenes that they show, and they actually skipped a lot of action, which I don't think we've ever seen before. So that actually really stood out to me. Like, they were kind of just going through the motions, and they were doing what hunters and huntresses would typically do. So they were taking out Grimm, and they were just getting tired and kind of bored. So it was kind of interesting to see that. But I love the sort of cinematic views with the slashes and stuff, where it would zoom in and things like that. And one of the other really big things, and this is something that they've done numerous times before, but they it always takes a couple episodes. It's always like every 6 or so episodes they cut people in half. They cut the Grimm in half, and so we see like actual blood, and it really stood out to me. It was very like it wasn't surprising. It just catches me off guard because we never get to see that. And it's like, oh yeah, they actually do get bloody in this show. Any other time when they fight people, you can get shot and punched and stabbed all day, and you just fall over. So it was kind of interesting to see them actually like splitting Grimm in half, and it was pretty cool. I think one of my favorite actual fight scenes was what Blake did because she stood there and was waiting to get attacked, and she just did her move. So that looked really cool because typically she's in the middle of like a ton of action. She's already moving super fast, and then she jumps and you barely notice it. But in that one, it was really really cool because it was like the main focus of that entire scene was her waiting to use her power. So that looked really cool. We also got to see a new type of Grimm, which are based on elephants, and we also learned more about Grimm, where these elephant-based creatures, and also possibly other Grimm creatures that we haven't seen yet, evolve, and they learn that if they attack humans, they'll get attacked back, and killing off one human will just bring more humans. So they're waiting for humans to kind of kill themselves off so they can come in and wipe out the remnants. So I thought that was really, really cool. When they had the one elephant sort of look towards Dr. Oobleck and Ruby, it was kind of creepy just the way it was looking. Like, I know you're a human, I know you're there, and it was just kind of waiting, like, what are they doing here and stuff like that. So that was really cool. Them being in this ruin portion of the city, or I guess it was going to be a part of the city, technically it never was, but that part I thought was really really cool. I initially just thought they're going outside the kingdom, so they're going to be in the forest the whole time, but it was pretty unique. It was ruins, and that also made me think of the opening because Sun's team is standing in front of like ruined buildings, and it could play into the series. I highly doubt it, honestly, because it's just the opening. There are a ton of things that just don't happen from the opening or in any series, honestly. But it made me think about the opening, that they would find out what happens maybe in next week's episode. They would actually find a secret base with Roman and Cinder, and then all the kids would kind of just go out and they'd launch a full scale attack. But it just popped into my head, but it probably won't happen that way. But it was definitely a great episode, a great inner look. It was another character developing episode, but it wasn't done through backstory really. It was just done through characters kind of realizing themselves. I've always had this answer, just like anyone would in real life. I've always had this drive or this passion, and I want to go towards this. But once you ask and you have to give full details, it's like, well, I like this, but that's all I have. I like it. So it was really cool to get that. Zwei in this episode, the dog, was definitely cute. He was just being a dog, being silly, and so that was just nice to see him. And I, of course, loved the scene when Ruby got busted and Oobleck seemed like he was gonna freak out. Then he was like, genius, and how fast he was talking. Everything about it with him was just hilarious. But overall, it's definitely a great episode. We only have 3 more episodes left, so I'm really curious to see when this trip is gonna end and what the next two, what the episodes are gonna be, 11 and 12. And also what this last, I assume we're going to get one more World of Remnant episode before the season is up. So I'm very curious as to what we're going to get out of that too. I would love for it to be just, like even if it was 1 minute, just semblances and everything about it, that would be amazing. But of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what do you guys think is going to happen in next week's episode? What do you think the conclusion to this little field trip is really going to be? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.